Is coconut oil healthy or not? It's a saturated fat. It's antimicrobial and antifungal. We use it in a lot of recipes. We use it therapeutically. And yet, some people will say never use it, and others will say use it. And I'm Allison Samon, functional nutritionist, and I help you to relieve your chronic illness and escape mystery symptoms. And one of the ways that we do that is with bio-individuality. That is the functional nutrition approach. And coconut oil is no different. So, who is it right for? It depends. It depends on the status of your gut microbiome. Do you have a lot of proteobacteria, LPS, endotoxins? In that case, no. Coconut oil will be a driver for you. But if you have a diet rich in antioxidant, fiber, void of processed foods, you have a healthy gut microbiome, and therefore coconut oil may be right for you. So in this video, I share with you all of the pros and cons about coconut oil. This is from a few years ago where I debated a Harvard scientist, and I hope that you will listen through a functional lens. And if you need more support around this, you can get my chronic illness recovery guide. It is your roadmap to finding symptom relief so your chronic illness can be a thing of the past. You can get that guide by clicking below. Be sure to share this video with anyone who needs to hear it. And by all means, give us a like and let us know what you want to hear more about. I so appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Here we go. Hey there, friends. It's Allie coming to you today with hot, hyperbolic headlines. You may have seen them all over your news feed. I've certainly been seeing them all over mine. And when people start reaching out to me saying, coconut oil, Harvard says coconut oil is pure poison. Oh my God, this is what I've been having. This is what I thought was really good. And I switched to coconut oil. I'm saying it's a hyperbolic headline. And I've actually spent a lot of time today trying to figure out who this person is and to see what kind of ulterior motive. And unfortunately, I got nothing. But this is a professor from Harvard, Dr. Karen Michaels, who prefaced this by saying, I am not a professor. I do not have all of these decades of research in epidemiology behind me as she does. She is a cancer researcher, specifically women's breast cancer and endometriosis. And so I'm not discrediting her at all. But what she said on stage about coconut oil, I think is hyperbolic and leads to a lot of confusion in an already confusing arena as what's good fat? What fat can I have? Is fat good or is fat bad? Because for so long, we've been told fat was really bad for us. And now we know fat's actually really good. And so many people have switched to high fat. And of course, there is no one diet for everybody. Everything you have to kind of take with a grain of salt and see how your body performs. But to say that coconut oil is pure poison is what she said, and it's the worst thing you could possibly eat, is pure insanity. If you ask me, coconut oil is a saturated fat. However, half of the fat content, half of the fatty acids in coconut oil is lauric acid. Lauric acid is actually something that helps, it does help bring up all of your cholesterol. Your total cholesterol number will go up, but the HDL is higher than the LDL. HDL is the good cholesterol, and the LDL being the bad cholesterol. It helps to boost that, which is heart smart. And what we know is that coconut oil is good for your heart, and it's good for your brain. What coconut oil does, it naturally has fatty acids that MCT oil is all of the rage right now, and MCT oil is in medium chain triglycerides are in coconut oil naturally, and they help produce ketones. Ketones are a fuel that your brain uses. Your brain uses two fuels, glucose and ketones. It needs both. You need fatty acids. You need fatty acids for your brain. You need it for your heart. It's when we went fat-free that heart disease skyrocketed. And I know this because it happened in my family, and I led the charge for being fat-free because I was Miss Healthy Pants, and I was dead wrong because my dad died of heart disease on a fat-free diet, exercising every day, and I was riddled with chronic pain. So it's kind of bullshit to say not to have fat. Now, so where she's coming from, when she said there are no studies that show any benefit to coconut oil, and I went, really? So I just did a quick little search on PubMed, which you can do, anybody can do. You don't have to be a doctor or a professor to look up on PubMed. And I found a study right off the bat that's been sourced by 59 other experts, so other professors, researchers, reviewers have all seen that placing coconut oil with unsaturated fats can create a risk, is consistent with risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Coconut oil is a healthy oil. Now here's the thing. Here's what everybody needs to get. Because it's a good oil, that does not mean pour it all over everything. If you listen to the experts, therapeutic doses of coconut oil are 1 to 2 tablespoons per day. Tablespoons per day. This is not drinking coconut oil. This is not taking coconut oil pills. This is not like fish oil. That's a whole other thing, because I've seen those headlines too. I'm going to have to do a separate video on that. If you're interested, comment below if you want to talk about fish oils. But coconut oil is different than fish oils, where fish oils, you can do high dose fish oils. It's recommended during pregnancy. It's recommended for healing if you've had any kind of trauma to the body. High dose, or if you have inflammatory conditions, high dose fish oils can be really beneficial. This is not the same for coconut oil. Coconut oil you can use with cooking. It's a great cooking oil. You can use it with baking, and you can use it therapeutically. Like, for instance, I put it on my gums and teeth every night because I broke a tooth. And we talked about this last week. I broke a tooth, and I need to control inflammation in my gums because my dentist doesn't believe that my tooth won't break again. And I'm gonna prove her wrong. And it's one of the most anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial things you can do for your oral health. And so I'm not drinking coconut oil, but I am putting it with my finger, rubbing it on my gums. It is perfectly safe and really, really good for oral hygiene. Coconut oil, actually, also because of the MCTs, I think I got off track there, because of the MCTs, it actually helps you to metabolize fat faster. So it helps the fat to not stay in your body, boost your metabolism. These are good things, but again, this is not to take it recreationally, and I don't know that anybody does that, but I think we are in, at least here in America, we are in this quick fix, one pill solves everything kind of culture. And if you hear coconut oil is really good for me, well then if a little is good, then more must be great. And that's not the case. And for most foods, I mean, you can't like OD on salad. If you're like, yeah, I'm gonna overconsume salad, and like nothing bad is gonna happen to you. Now, oil, it's an oil. It's not a natural thing. Coconut, it's different than busting open a coconut and eating the coconut meat, which I personally hate. I hate coconut, or coconut sprinkled on things, like I hate it. But I use the coconut oil because I recognize how beneficial it is, and it's a better cooking oil than, say, canola, which I do also use non-GMO canola, but most canola, like 95% of canola, is genetically modified, which is very, very bad, very, very toxic for you. And coconut oil is a great cooking oil substitute, and people will, this professor recommended using olive oil, which I'm going to say no. And I love olive oil. Olive oil is great. Olives are really great for your heart health, part of the Mediterranean diet, which we know is really, really good for your heart, for your brain, for losing weight. Fantastic. and olive oil, wonderful. But again, same thing. Same rule applies in terms of you're having a tablespoon or two. And sometimes there are doctors who have used for really inflammatory, like Alzheimer's, there's a therapeutic dose of coconut oil where it's like 3 to 5 tablespoons. But that's for a specific reason, and it's specifically anti-inflammatory, and it's under some kind of protocol, under supervision. 1 to 2 tablespoons per day, max, is not gonna hurt you, depending on who you are, and depending on if you have an already healthy diet. She doesn't talk about that at all. She doesn't talk about what people are eating, what their lives are like, what kind of health conditions, what health history, do they exercise, is it a toxic, she did nothing. She didn't, just don't have coconut oil because there's nothing that says coconut oil is good for you. It's really, really bad for you. I don't know what she's talking about. Back to olive oil. Olive oil is great to drizzle over things, or you dip a piece of bread in it. Good for salad dressing, but you do not cook with olive oil because olive oil oxidizes after a certain temperature. I think it's 100, after 118 degrees. It has a low smoke point. Basically, don't cook with it because it takes something that's good and heart healthy and makes it something bad. It creates free radicals. Free radicals is the stuff that causes cancer. So you don't want to use olive oil for cooking. Coconut oil is a much better option because it has that high smoke point. You don't have to worry about heating it. It's totally fine. I pulled up so many references because I was like, what? What questions do you have? Is this making sense to you? A couple of people reaching out to me saying, oh, the American Heart Association said that it's bad, and they said it's bad a few years ago, and I suspect their motives because the American Heart Association collects funds to do heart health research, and they are also very tied with the industry, and the industry that puts the little hearts on the little packages that says it's Heart Smart. They make money by saying it's Heart Smart. A lot of grain stuff, which is not always the best for your heart. And then they fund the American Heart Association. Do you see how this works? Coconut oil actually reduces your cholesterol levels, the bad, boosts the good, because we need cholesterol. Cholesterol is really good for the heart. It's really good for the brain. We need it in our bodies. We need cholesterol. It's when the cholesterol goes really down that problems start. This is what we did to my dad. We did this to my dad. We got his cholesterol way down. Didn't fix anything else. The cholesterol is not the problem. The cholesterol is a sign that something else is wrong. The cholesterol is like spackle. It's spackle that your body produces extra because he had calcifications in his heart that nobody was looking for because he was so healthy and fit. And his body was like, hey, there's some cracks here, there's some damage here, so we're gonna spackle this and spackle that. And so when the doctors say, well, we gotta get the cholesterol down, well, all the spackle went away. So all his protections went away. And he died. So, he was not having coconut oil because it wasn't a thing at the time. And we just didn't know. But what I'm telling you is, don't get crazy that coconut oil is pure poison. I feel like there's so many things in the food supply that actually qualify as pure poison. And dare I say, as an addict, sugar is one of them. And I love sugary things, but sugar, refined sugar, is pure poison. It's toxic to your brain. It's toxic to your waistline. It's toxic to your heart. Coconut oil is not pure poison. That's like an insane thing to say. If you don't know what somebody's eating, how they live, what their health is like, maybe for some people it is. Some healthy foods can be purely toxic to some people. But generally speaking, the populations of people who have coconut and coconut oil, yes, Alyssa, yes. A lot of people, the cultures who have high coconut oil or actually eating the coconut fruit, they have lower incidences of heart disease and cancer and all of these inflammatory conditions that we are so abundant in the United States. Because our diets have tended to be hyperbolic. No, fat is bad. Oh, fat is good. Oh, sugar is bad. Sugar is good. Meat is bad. Meat is good. And the thing is, sugar is pure poison. Coconut oil, it's just plain not. Yes, it is a saturated fat, but not in the same way that meats, animal meats, and butter are. And I know butter is really controversial because of Bulletproof. If you've heard of Bulletproof and Bulletproof coffee, and you put the stick of butter in the coffee and it gives you energy all day, that's because it's producing ketones, that's the MCT oil, which naturally comes in coconut oil. And that's why it gives you such energy and boosts your metabolism so people can feel really good. But it's not, if you notice, the butter he uses is very, very specific. It's a very, very specific kind, grass-fed, it's healthy animals. Generally speaking, the meat and butter that Americans are consuming is crap. It's unhealthy animals who live unhealthy, miserable lives and live in their own waste, and then we eat that. I don't, but there was a time that I did. I used to eat meat. I haven't had beef or pork in over 20 years. How could that be? You're so young. Meat and butter and dairy products, for that matter, are acidic in the body, whereas vegetables are not. And coconut oil doesn't have the same acidity. Even though it has the fatty acids, it doesn't have the same acidity in the body that the animals do, which is why this is a saturated fat that can be good for you. Again, it's not to take it like it's a cure-all. University of Geneva said 1 to 2 tablespoons of coconut oil per day increases your energy and how the rate at which you burn calories. You can burn 120 more calories just by having 1 to 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. And this can be in your smoothie. It's not sucking down coconut oil, but you can have it in your smoothie. You can be cooking with it. Like, there's ways to do it where you're not just pouring on oil. I use it on my skin. I find it to be really, really healing for skin. If you have a cut, a wound, I use it on my animals. It's really, really good for them and for their heart too. I mean, even my vet said, oh, wow, that's really good. Yeah, I read about that. Like, even my vet, who didn't recommend it, but when I said it, she's like, oh yeah, she agreed. It's like psoriasis, anything that's gonna be on your skin is really, really soothing and healing for your skin. It's good for diabetics. Like, to say that something is pure poison, to indict a natural food product. Now, I guess this is an important distinction also. So there's 2 kinds of coconut oil. And I think this is confusing to people. There's refined and unrefined. And anything that's refined is gonna be less good for you because a lot of the good properties get burned off. They get ruined, they get changed. Just like the olive oil, you always wanna have virgin or extra virgin olive oil because that's first press. It hasn't gone through heating processes that take the good away, right? So same thing with coconut oil. Virgin coconut oil has minimal processing and it will have that stronger aroma. And I know I don't love the taste of coconut oil, but I find that, I don't know, I guess you just get used to it. So unrefined is what I use on my skin. It's what I use on my gums. Non-virgin olive oil, so that's refined. It has less of the taste and less of the flavor. So I think it's people are drawn to that because they don't like the flavor. But I think most people like the flavor. Dr. Dean Ornish. So Dr. Dean Ornish, who won the Nobel Prize for his research in heart health, who has the Ornish protocol, is recognized by the FDA and covered by health insurance. And health insurance doesn't cover anything, but they cover the Ornish protocol. He recommends coconut oil, and this has been since the 1980s. So people dismissed him and poo-pooed him as well, but he's been right. All of this time, all of these decades, he's been right about coconut oil. what bothers me the most, and I want you to take any article you see that's hyperbolic like this, take it with a grain of salt. Who is the person saying it? What is their ulterior motive? And you want to know who exactly they're saying it's dangerous for. She did not say that. And her specialty is cancer. Her specialty is cancer. I don't know that I would question anything she had to say about breast cancer. But when she's talking about coconut oil, which we often recommend for heart health and brain health, I'd say she's wrong. She's just wrong. It's not going to be the miracle drug. I kind of consider it a miracle drug, and that it should be in everybody's medicine cabinet, and well, your kitchen is your medicine cabinet, let's be real. It's not going to have the same effect if you're eating a high crap diet. It's just not going to have the same effect. But with a healthy diet, because I think that's what a lot of people think, is like you find something is healthy for you and, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want, but yeah, I use coconut oil. 1 to 2 tablespoons, that's what you said. So if you only change one thing, 1 to 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, you're probably not going to see the benefit of it because there's still all this other crap. But I promise you that if you examine cultures in other countries who eat this naturally, they are way healthier, live longer, and live better. We found a way to live long in this country, but not better. You don't want to be living in a chair. You know, there's communities here just an hour away from me where people live well into their hundreds and are still working by choice and living. And I mean, there's a lot of reasons that help to do that, but their diet is part of it. Their community is also part of it, but their diet is part of it. And that's something that we are just not really good at here. So I want you to feel secure in knowing coconut oil is not pure poison. I disagree. If you agree with the researcher, comment below or share this with somebody who is having these questions. I really want to know. I want to hear from you what your takeaway is, what your thoughts are. Were you concerned? Are you confused? Because the last thing we need is to have more consumers more confused about what the heck they're supposed to eat, because that's what so many people are struggling with. And we just don't want to indict natural foods, real foods. It's not, Mother Nature gave us food because that's what sustains us. That's what we've lived on. That's how we've survived. It's not the processed, invented crap that we also love. I love it too. But it's just, it shouldn't be the main thing that you're eating. And nobody said that. I've never said that. Nobody said that. Having it daily, yeah, it's great. It's not pure poison. It's not the worst thing you could possibly eat. That is hyperbolic and just plain wrong. Please share this with whoever needs to hear this or has a question. Comment below. I want to talk this out with you because I want to know what your thoughts are, what your experience has been with coconut oil. It's not poison. It's like a wonder drug, but again, it's not because you're guzzling gallons of it. You use it therapeutically. You rub it on your skin. You rub it on your gums. You put a couple of tablespoons while you're cooking. There's nothing toxic about that. There's way more things that you could do and might already be doing that actually are toxic. But putting a little coconut oil in your smoothie, sauteing your vegetables in coconut oil, come on. It's good. It's really good. It's heart smart. It does help give you energy. It does help you to not hold on to fat. The saturated fat that comes from animals that is way, way worse for you. It's mostly lauric acid. Lauric acid is good for you. It also has MCT oil. MCT is all the rage. Everybody's talking about MCT. It's in coconut oil. Medium chain triglyceride. It's in there. It's part of it. It's good. So I didn't hear her speech, but the headline that's been picked up by every single news outlet is, because she said it on stage, coconut oil is pure poison. And there's no study that shows coconut oil is good for you, which I call bullshit. Comment below. Love to hear your thoughts.
let's talk some more. Share this with somebody who needs to hear about it. And I want to hear back from you. Bye for now.